Welcome to our channel. Cancel culture. It's something you've likely heard of, and if you're on social media, you've probably witnessed it firsthand. But what does it really mean? And how did it become this powerful tool for collective judgment? Today, we're unpacking the rise of cancel culture and exploring its darker side, public shaming in the digital age. Spoiler alert, it's far more complicated than just calling someone out. Cancel culture is often seen as a way to hold people accountable, especially those in positions of power. But here's the tricky part. It can quickly turn into something else entirely, something more harmful. One wrong tweet or statement can suddenly make you a target, and the consequences can be devastating. Let's take a closer look at where this all started. Believe it or not, public shaming isn't a new concept. Historically, people have always used public humiliation to enforce societal norms. Think of those medieval stocks where people were locked up in town squares, or the infamous scarlet letter used to shame individuals publicly. It was a way to signal to the community, this person did something wrong. Fast forward to today, and social media has made this easier and faster. Cancel culture is public shaming on steroids. What used to happen in town squares now happens in digital spaces, with a global audience. Social psychologist Dr. Jennifer Jacquet points out that this shift has transformed cancel culture into a form of moral outrage, which often prioritizes punishment over dialogue. So, why do we participate in cancel culture? Studies show that humans have an innate sense of fairness and justice. A study by Keltner et al., 2014, reveals that when we feel like someone is breaking societal rules, we feel a rush of moral righteousness when calling them out. It's like a dopamine hit, a surge of satisfaction. But here's the kicker. Cancel culture often triggers intense psychological effects, not just for the person being canceled, but for those doing the canceling too. The mental toll can be huge. Imagine this. You wake up to find your name trending online, but for all the wrong reasons. Thousands or even millions of people are attacking you, many without full context. This level of public shaming can lead to severe mental health consequences, from anxiety to depression. Research from the University of California found that social media-induced shaming can increase feelings of social exclusion, which is closely linked to mental health issues like depression and suicidal thoughts. And let's not forget, cancel culture doesn't just punish, it isolates. Once you've been canceled, it's almost impossible to bounce back. There's little room for apologies, growth, or learning from mistakes. We need to talk about the difference between accountability and harassment. On one hand, accountability is essential. When people cross the line, especially those with influence, there should be consequences. But where do we draw the line between accountability and harassment? When does it stop being about justice and start becoming digital bullying? Take the example of comedian Kevin Hart. He was publicly canceled over past tweets. But years later, through public discussions, apologies, and growth, Hart was able to re-enter the public conversation. This shows that accountability doesn't always have to end in exile. It can lead to change if we allow it. However, it's not always that simple. In some cases, the internet never forgets. For instance, Monica Lewinsky, who faced extreme public shaming in the 90s, speaks about how the long-lasting effects of being canceled haunted her for years. She has since become an anti-bullying advocate, calling cancel culture a mutually assured destruction of reputations. Here's where things get really interesting. Did you know that according to a survey by Pew Research Center, 44% of Americans say they have heard about cancel culture and 22% admit they've participated in canceling someone online? And here's a troubling stat. 58% of respondents believe cancel culture has a negative impact on society. A growing body of research highlights that the constant fear of being canceled discourages people from expressing their opinions. A study from the University of Copenhagen found that fear of backlash leads to self-censorship, where people with moderate or nuanced views simply remain silent. In short, cancel culture is stifling free speech, ironically in the very spaces that are supposed to foster open dialogue. Okay, we get it. Cancel culture has its flaws. But what's the alternative? How do we hold people accountable while leaving room for growth, discussion, and understanding? Many experts suggest a shift towards restorative justice, a system where the focus is on rehabilitation and education rather than punishment. Social psychologist Dr. Jonathan Haidt suggests that rather than canceling someone outright, we could encourage constructive conversations, allowing room for reflection and learning. Instead of labeling someone as canceled forever, imagine a scenario where they could engage in dialogue, apologize, and demonstrate real change. It's about turning mistakes into opportunities for growth, not destruction. So, what can we take away from this? Cancel culture is a complex, evolving phenomenon. It's not black and white. There are real benefits to holding people accountable, but the cost of collective shaming can be too high. The next time you're tempted to cancel someone, ask yourself, is this about justice or is it about punishment? Can this person grow from their mistake, or are we just trying to bring them down? Let's focus on dialogue, understanding, and growth because that's how we move forward as a society. Thanks for watching. If this video made you think, consider subscribing, liking, and leaving your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about cancel culture and how we can improve how we hold each other accountable.